we doing, folks? It is, of course, October 15th, 2016, a Saturday. Rich Van Tassel with you. This is not sports related. Frankly, I don't even want to keep doing these videos because no one seems to get it. No one seems to care. And it goes for both Republicans. It goes for both Democrats. But, this is one of the things I have to talk about, and it has nothing to do with Donald Trump and the stuff, the reports of the women and the sexual abuse. Any, knowledgeable person understands that that's a political tactic by Hillary Clinton. It's probably made up, or it's just ridiculousness, of things that are taken out of context 30 years ago. It has nothing to do with that. That's not what I'm doing in this video. What I'm talking about now is this just ridiculousness of people who are mainly Republicans. And I don't really like Republicans. I'm not a Democrat or a progressive or anything. I'm not an Obama supporter by any means. But this is why things don't get solved, is because I think the Republicans, they don't ever try to look at things. They only react to things. And it's talking about the debt, which is probably going to reach $20 trillion. Yes, that's with a T, $trillion. If it hasn't already reached that point. It's just climbing all the time. But, I hear all this about the debt. Where are we going to cut spending? I don't want to pay for food stamps. Why should I pay for food stamps? Why should I pay for welfare? Blah, 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 this, that, and the other thing. And I think the debt is a big time problem before anyone tries to imply otherwise. It's $20 trillion is out of control. It's gone up about 16 trillion since Obama's been on. That's ridiculous. But what people seem to not realize is and excuse my language, the fucking debt was at $4 trillion before Obama ever came into office. So I get it. It's okay for it to get to $4 trillion, but now when it gets to $20 trillion, the debt, what are we going to do about the debt? We are to Obama, we got to stop paying for food stamp, blah, blah, blah. Obama, he's a socialist, which Obama probably is a socialist. Again, I'm not an Obama guy. I'm not coming on here to defend Barack Obama. But I'm saying this is why you wonder why things happen, why a guy like Barack Obama wins. Because you concern yourself with shit when you should have been concerning it in the first place. So when George Bush was running up, and I think George Bush put about $3 trillion on the debt. Again, I'm not checking the numbers, but it may have doubled at least. It was probably around $2 trillion, where it never should have been at when George Bush got in the office, and he doubled it another $2 trillion. So that's okay. I get it. It's all right when it's at $4 trillion or even $10 trillion. You're not talking about it. But now, because we don't want Hillary Clinton to win, and I don't want Hillary Clinton to win, okay, before we start on that shit either. Oh, it's at $20 trillion. We got to worry about the debt. How are we going to do, let's explain this in simple economic terms and look at a basic budget where we have it at $100. Just look at it that way and this, that, and the other thing. Okay, I agree with that. That's fine. That's perfectly reasonable to take that argument. But where were you taking that argument when it was at fucking 500 billion or any of that shit? And maybe 500 billion is manageable. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not an economist. I don't know how, what deals can be made or what assets there is or is not. But, if you ask me, an appropriate number for the debt would be -$1. But, and I understand that it doesn't necessarily work that way. You can be losing millions, if not billions at times, and making that up, okay? But when the debt got to 100 billion, that's when things, you probably should have looked at it and kept climbing and been like, hey, well, maybe the debt's a concern. Maybe we got to work on the debt. But it gets to 1 trillion, and I got to look these fucking numbers up right now if my computer cooperates and see exactly. Let me see, for all you Republicans out there, what the debt was when Ronald Reagan left office. Because we all love Ronald Reagan's so great. And again, I think Ronald Reagan was a fine president. But he's been in the ground, folks. You're not raising that 30-year-old dead ghost. Okay, so let's see. Debt when Reagan left office. At the end of the fiscal 1980, 4 months before Ronald Reagan was inaugurated, the federal debt held by the public was 711.9 billion. So we're going to pretend that's acceptable for a minute. At the end of the fiscal 1989, 8 months after Reagan left office, the federal debt held by the public was 2.1907 trillion. So it was okay then for Ronald Reagan. We love Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reaganomics. I love Ronald Reagan. Let me see. Let me make sure you all see that. It's coming up. Y'all saw that? Okay? So it was all right when Ronald Reagan jacked it up to $2.1 trillion. No one said, Republican, I don't hear Republicans saying they didn't complain about food stamps or shit then. But now that it's 20 trillion, we're gonna lose our shit. Enough, folks. Enough is enough already. If you want to be upset about something, be upset about it all the time, okay? And I don't even know what got me so animated about it. I don't even know why I started even thinking about this, but I had to do a video. That's when Reagan left office. It was so $2 trillion is okay. Let me make sure we're all on board with that. $2 trillion is just fine. But now that we're at $20 trillion, oh my God, let's explain the budget in a way people can understand. No, I think anyone can understand it. A budget works the same, well, I shouldn't say anyone. Okay? You don't need to break it down into hundreds for me. You don't need to break this, that, and I am not happy with the $20 trillion debt. I'm not happy when it was 2.19 when Reagan left office. I was 3 years old at the time. I'm not happy when it was 4 trillion when Obama took office. But guess what? You don't hear me come up here saying, well, now that it's at 20 trillion, now we really got to solve it. I say it's a problem all the fucking time. When something's a problem, I say it's a fucking problem. I don't care if it's George Bush. I don't care if it's Barack Obama. When Donald Trump says something like torture I don't agree with, I say Donald Trump shouldn't do that. Do I want Donald Trump to be president? Yes. Do I think Hillary Clinton would be terrible for this country? Yes. But anything Donald Trump does wrong, yeah, I'm going to call him out on it. And this video recording on the tape. Should he be talking like that? No, of course not. Have I talked like that? I'm sure. I'm not going to hold it against him. I'd look at every situation as it exists and judge it that way. But, again, I don't even think this will break through to people because they just don't care. They just don't give a shit. It's all partisan. It's all, Obama's been president the last 8 years, this, that, and the other thing. And you know what's going to happen if Donald Trump becomes president and in 2 years things don't turn around? You know what they're going to be saying? The same thing Barack Obama said when George W. Bush left office. Well, he left me such a mess. And guess what? Republicans are going to give Donald Trump that pass when that happens. But when Barack Obama's saying 2 years into his term, well, look at the mess I got when George W. Bush left office. Well, you can't blame the past guy. You're the president now. But you know what I'm going to be saying? And I'm not saying I don't know what's going to happen in 2 years, okay, if Donald Trump wins president. Maybe he'll turn things around great. Or maybe things will probably still be stuck where I would expect it to be. I'm not going to turn around and say, well, look at the situation Barack Obama left him in. No, Donald Trump would be the president at that time. Donald Trump needs to fix it. But again, it's all partisan. Well, we're Republicans. Republicans can do no wrong. We don't care how much money we spend on military, but we need food stamps. So someone making 15 grand a year because we don't want to raise the minimum wage. How are we going to pay for that? And I don't want the minimum wage raised, okay? Before we talk about that. But you look at things, it's like, that's just another thing people don't look at. Well, you want to pay someone $8.50 an hour, but God forbid they get $100 or whatever it is off food stamps. Okay, that makes sense, right? Well, let's keep the minimum wage down, but God forbid these people need, subsidized housing, or they need food stamps. What do we? Oh, how could they ask for that? How could you expect me to pay for that? Well, maybe pay them a little more when they work. I don't know. And like I said, I'm not saying raise the minimum wage. I'm saying no one looks at this shit at all. And again, we're going back to it. The debt's now at $20 trillion. But when it's $2.1907 trillion when Ronald Reagan leaves office, oh no, that's okay. The debt, yeah. What do you think? People weren't getting food stamps when Reagan was in office? And I know I ranted. I was probably all over the place on this video. Probably no one's gonna even watch it, and they'll keep going on their El Sarah, whatever will be, will be. I'm a Republican. Republicans do no wrong. I'm a Democrat. Democrats do no wrong. Merry fucking way. Well, that's why this country's done for, folks. It is what it is. I try to go upon and just live my life as it exists. But it's going to go down eventually, and this is the reason why. So, next time, hopefully someone watches this video. Hopefully some Republicans who, are I think Republicans are worse than the Democrats, because the Democrats make no bones about it. And I shouldn't even say Republican and Democrat. Progressives and Republicans. Because at least a fucking Democrat makes no bones about it. And they're evil. They're here to do shit that I don't agree with. But they don't come out and hide it, man. Republicans try to act like, or, they don't necessarily double speak in the sense of what they're trying to accomplish. They double speak in the manners in which they go about it. Of course Democrats do that. But, this is what their fucking plan is. This is what they're trying to do. Republicans, on the other hand, act like they care about shit. Act like they have, the best interests of things at heart. But, they really don't. Because when it comes to looking at it at an aspect like this, you would ever bring up to a Republican, the debt was at $2.1907 trillion when Ronald Reagan left office. Well, Ronald Reagan, that's what they probably fucking say to you. Well, it was acceptable then at 2.1, and I'm not an Obama fucking person, okay? I am appalled by what the debt is right now. But make your fucking stink when it's at 2.1907 trillion and not when it's at 20 trillion. And then maybe things could have been turned around then, because frankly, I don't how are you going to solve the $20 trillion worth of debt? And there are people I know who I've talked to, I'll just leave it at that, but, got pretty aggressive with me, like, well, it's that attitude that's not going to change things. My attitude? No, I don't think you can solve $20 trillion worth of debt, because I don't see how you'll ever pay that down, because there's way too many things that you have to spend money on, and that thing is only going to increase, okay? Instead, how about we look at the poor attitude of, we let the debt get to 2.1907 trillion under Ronald Reagan and didn't make a stink, but now when Obama's, leaving office and we can't let Hillary win, that's when we're going to do it. So, we'll see who watches, we'll see who doesn't. I know there was a lot of rambling on here, but folks, look at it from the perspective of not Republican, not Democrat. Not what you want your tax money to go to, not what you think's acceptable, not this, that, and the other thing, okay? You want to know my tax plan? You get to keep 80%, the other 20%. Then, when you fill out your W-2, you can fill out, I want X amount of dollars to go to military spending. I want X amount of dollars to go to food stamps. That's what I would do with taxes, okay? But to make this argument, well, I don't want to pay for food. Why? Because someone who's making 15 grand, probably working 40 hours a week, they can't eat. Because I guess they're all lazy. And I know that there are people who abuse the system. But there are plenty of people who rely on food stamps who don't abuse the system. And I don't even, you want to let people starve? Fuck it, let them starve, man. I'll probably be one of those people at some point, too. So, I don't, if I'm saying that's the case, that's the case. If that's what happens, that's what happens. But just come all out and say it, all right? Then, we got to get rid of these people. We don't want to spend it. Don't hide behind this, well, it's acceptable that we spend X amount of dollars on military, or X amount of dollars so we can have police. And, police are property tax, that's a different thing, but, this, that, and some of these towns really need 55 fucking police officers? What do you think that money comes from? Yeah, your taxes. Okay? So it's okay to pay high property tax, but, the income tax, so someone can have food stamps or someone being on welfare, which I don't necessarily agree with. Again, but we can have those problems. But whatever, I rambled. No one's even going to watch this anyway, so have a good weekend. Be sure to check out the sports videos where, I do that stuff. Take care. Bye.